out by the neighbors.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. For those of you that don't know, my name is Antonio Matwire and I own a 2017 BMW 340i. So today we're actually going to the dyno and finally getting the BMW dynoed. I know a lot of you guys always ask me how much power I'm making, and I always kind of give a rough estimate. I would guess I'm making around, mid 400s, so like 450, 460, but it's gonna be nice to finally dial in and know exactly how much power my car is making. So that being said, we're actually on the way to the gas station right now. Right now I'm running a flame tune. For those of you that don't know, it's an E30 flame tune. So the E30 is 30% ethanol, so 30% E85. But I'm wanting to try out Boot Mode's new E50 map. So they just came out with it not too long ago. With the more ethanol, the more power you're probably gonna create. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the gas station, fill up with E85 with a 50% mixture, and then reflash my car to the E50 tune. Hopefully we'll be making more power once we do that, but I won't really know until I drive the car afterwards and once we go to the dyno. Alright, so I'm here at the gas station. I just kind of wanted to explain to you guys what I'm going to be doing. I'll go ahead and show you guys as well. But pretty much with the E50 tune, you need 50% ethanol, which is 50% E85. So with that being said, I'm going to fill up half my tank with the 91 octane and then do another half with the E85. So this car has a 15.9 or pretty much a 16-gallon tank. So I'm going to be putting 8 gallons of E85 as well as 8 gallons of 91. If you do live on the West Coast, they don't have 93, they only have 91. So usually what I do is I add a little bit more E85 as if I was back in Arkansas where they actually had 93. So it is very hard to see with this screen. It's very, very dirty and probably has sun damage. But anyway, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I put about 8.5 gallons of the E85. So it's always a good idea to start with the E85 because you have to measure it out. But then after that, just finish filling up with the 91 until it's full. So obviously before I start the car, I'm gonna need to change my map to the E50 tune because I don't want to mess up my engine. With that being said, I tuned my car with boot mode. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the boot mode app. All right, and then sign in. You're gonna wanna plug in the OBD port, or the OBD to the OBD port. Once you get the OBD plugged in, you're gonna plug in the adapter to whatever phone you have, whether it be your whether it be an Apple phone or an Android. And you always want to make sure that before you flash that you put your seatbelt on. You don't want anything to happen to your car while you were flashing. So in my case, I already have the tune that I want downloaded, but if you don't, you would just go to OTS Maps and download whichever one you want. In my case, I'm going to go to My Maps, scroll down to the Stage 2 Plus E50 Octane. So I'm doing Stage 2 Plus because I have the TU pump in my car, the high pressure fuel pump, and you need either a TU high pressure fuel pump or just any other aftermarket high pressure fuel pump like the Dorch Stage 2 high pressure fuel pump, etc. If not, then you probably shouldn't be running Stage 2 Plus. Let me configure the settings real quick. In this area, you can configure exactly how you want the exhaust burbles, everything like that. I'll probably just keep the exhaust burbles OEM for now. I don't want anything too crazy. I'll customize them later. GTS starter roar, want that on. Cold start, keep it OEM. Max cooling doesn't apply to me. Let me just go through these settings real quick. Open, off. You want to make sure that you're checking for the catalytic monitor, the check engine light. You want to make sure it's off, because if not and you have a catalyst downpipe and you tune your car, then you will get a check engine light if you don't turn it off. In my case, for high pressure fuel pump, like I said, I have the TU pump, which is sufficient to run the Stage 2 Plus, but on the options there is no TU pump, so just click OEM, save changes. And then it's always recommended to flash your car when you're hooked up to a battery charger or whatever the case is, just because flashing it can take a while and it could drain your battery. So if you're not hooked up to a battery charger, like in my case, I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure everything's off. So make sure your AC's off, make sure your heat's off, go ahead and just turn off your lights. And before you flash, you wanna make sure that your car is in accessory mode. So just press the start button once without actually starting your car. And then it'll be in accessory mode. Once it's in accessory mode and you see that your iDrive is on, you can go ahead and flash. I'm gonna go ahead and flash. It still hasn't read that my vehicle is plugged in because my car wasn't on, but if I give it a second, it'll probably read. So unfortunately, the boot mode app won't detect my vehicle or won't connect to my phone for some reason. So you know how it is with technology, not everything always works out the way you want it to, but luckily I'm not too far from home, so I don't think, you know, running an E50 mixture on my E30 tune is gonna do too much to my car. We're probably about like 5-7 minutes from our house. So what I'm just gonna do is just go home real quick, probably try to figure it out there. I'm not gonna do any like hard pulls or anything like that, don't wanna damage anything. But once we get there, hopefully I figure it out before we have to go to the dyno. All right guys, so I just got home and luckily it's working. I had to use my MacBook. So I'm guessing it was just the connector that connected the Ethernet to my, or the Ethernet to my phone that might be broken. But anyway, so you're gonna go to My Maps, and then the very bottom, hold on, having technical difficulties. Okay, that's weird, you have to drag it. Okay, so click and drag, and at the very bottom, you'll see, where is it? Stage 2 Plus E50 Octane. So what you're gonna do is click on that one, and it pretty much just tells you what you need for the tune. So right here it'll say high flow downpipe, which I have, upgraded fuel pump, Dorch engineering, or B58TU. So I have the B58TU. So all this is good. Like I said before, once you configure all your settings how you want it, you're gonna go down to flash, and you're gonna flash it. Once again, make sure your seatbelt is on. So let me go ahead and do that. It might take a while just because I haven't flashed this map before. Usually if it's a map that you have flashed, it'll probably take like, realistically, maybe a 1.5 to 2 minutes. But since I haven't flashed this one before, it might take a little longer, more towards like 3 to 5 minutes, which is okay. So you're pretty much just gonna wait for this thing to flash. But I did want to mention, obviously, at the gas station, I did a 50-50 mix because my tank was on E. Obviously, if your tank isn't on E, then you're gonna have to do some math to figure out how much. So when you're flashing, you're gonna get all these lights, obviously, just ignore them. Once the flash is complete, all your lights will go away. So a lot of funky stuff is gonna be happening, but just don't freak out, it's normal. So if you already had maybe like a quarter of a tank, then you have to do your math accordingly. Okay, well, how much more, 91 do I have to add to get a 50-50 mixture? So pretty much the E50 means 50% ethanol. So if you're not on an empty tank, just do the math to figure out how much ethanol you have to add to make it an E50. I also did want to mention, if you are flashing from your phone, be sure to put your phone in airplane mode, because you don't want any text messages or any notifications popping up on your screen while the application is flashing your car, because you don't want any interruptions. I feel like I look like a Honda Civic boy with my laptop here. Like, oh shit, you want to race? Let me pull out my laptop. So once it reaches 100%, you'll get this notification that says finishing up. It doesn't mean that your car is done. Just continue to wait, and at that point, it'll be okay to disconnect everything. So as you can see, it says success. So stage 2 E50 octane flashed successfully. That's a good thing. You don't want any errors. If there's an error, then you might have to flash again. But since we got the success, we're gonna go ahead and click OK. It tells you to please turn ignition off. My ignition wasn't on, but if it is in accessory mode, you do want to take it out of accessory mode for about 5 seconds. So I'm gonna go ahead and click the start stop button. It's off. Wait about 5 seconds. I can go ahead and clear this success. It's been about 5 seconds. Go ahead and remove the OBD, and then you can start up your car. And everything sounds good. Make sure you're not getting any errors on the dash. And so far everything looks good. I'm not getting any lights, any errors. And the check engine light that I actually once had isn't there anymore, so that's good. And at this point, I always tell people, once you flash your car, it's always a good idea just to go on a little test drive, make sure nothing feels funky, make sure that your transmission is shifting through the gears correctly, and just pretty much your car is running as it should. So we we're actually on our way to, it's called Eurotech Tuning. So we're on our way to Eurotech Tuning right now to get the dyno done. So once we get there, we'll catch up with you guys. Alright, so they're lowering the car behind me right now and getting it even with this dyno so that we can get it on the rack, but we're making bets. So how much horsepower do you think we'll be making today?
485.
485. Okay. You got some faith in my car. I like that. I'm guessing like mid 400s, probably like 450, 460 is what I'm gonna guess. But I guess we're gonna find out. The car is in position and they're just getting everything ready on the computer before we start it up. Once they do start it up, obviously I'll get all 3 runs. So we're gonna do 3 pulls. The first one, we'll do the pull, I'll show you guys the numbers. Second one, do the pull, show you guys the numbers, so on and so forth. And we're just trying to do it that way, so that way you guys can see the pull and then you can see the numbers right after each pull. Alright, so as you can see, here's the power band right here. Max power, I'm making 456, 98 to the wheel. Max torque, 536. The torque is ridiculous. So like I said before, this is the E50 tune, and it's exactly what I expected. I told you guys in the very beginning, probably like mid 450 to like 460 horsepower, and literally is almost spot on. So 460 horsepower to the wheel and right around 536 torque. So like ridiculous amount of torque, but this thing is moving on this E50 tune for sure. Super accurate, you know. I like to think that I know my car pretty well, and my guess was almost spot on. I told you guys 450, 460. That's pretty much what it was, 460. So 460 wheel, torque 530. So putting down pretty good numbers for just running an E50 OTS tune. This is even a custom tune, so I could probably squeeze out a little more power with a custom tune, probably right around like 470. But that's probably not in my cards like right now. I do plan on getting a big turbo like way down in the future, and I probably won't get a custom tune until I get that big turbo. Just like that, the rest of today's video. If you guys have any questions on anything BMW related or anything that you saw in this video, you guys can always hit me up on my Instagram at Matwire. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. So many plans for this car this year, you guys aren't gonna want to miss it. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that like button for me, and as always, remember your goals and don't stop till you reach them. Peace.
Excited just to see me, wish I felt the same way. Later on she'll probably get a name change. People changing on me like they gain weight. I wish that I